What is up, Horror Hounds? It's us again. We are back for this month, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll do another one here in a little bit. We've had a lot of time to watch some shit, some of which was actually good, surprisingly.
We have a good lineup today.
We do, which is weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess let's go ahead and just get it rolling. All right, roast. All right, so the first movie that we're doing tonight is called Red Snow. I believe it came out last year. And this movie is... I know what you're thinking. Didn't they already do this? Right? A movie about red snow or something? No, it's dead snow.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. This movie is about vampires. And a writer. And that's it. That's all that there is. That fucking dude. So the premise of this movie is this woman is a novelist, and she is... I'm sorry. That's probably not the right term, is it?
She hasn't published anything yet. Nobody wants to publish her books.
Yeah.
She's not very good.
No, she's, what's her name?
Stephanie Meyer.
Is that Twilight Girl?
That's Twilight.
Okay. All right. That's the one I was thinking of.
She gets a name drop in this movie, as a matter of fact.
Does she really?
She absolutely does.
Man, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, there's a point where he goes, Anne Rice or Stephanie Meyer. Because he's like, what kind of vampire writer do you want to be?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know.
I think he said Anne Rice. Anne Rice did Interview with the Vampire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been a very, very naughty little girl.
I didn't know Stephanie Meyer wrote Twilight.
She sure did.
Okay.
I think she was a virgin when she wrote it, too.
Oh, my God.
It was right before she wrote 12 Shades of Grey.
Oh, no, that's the different lady, isn't it? Okay, so this novelist is on, was she on vacation or something? What was her story?
No, so she's a loser, right?
Oh.
And she's never sold a book, and her mom died last year, I think. Yeah, her mom died last year, and she's got one sister, but her sister's married off, and she's got kids, and she's doing her own life, but she still checks in every once in a while. So it's Christmas, and she's by herself in her mom's old house, which she left to her in the will because she knew that she wouldn't be able to afford her apartment. I thought this movie was funny. Masterfully portrayed, like, bad writers.
Yes. She's at her mom's old house or whatever, and that's not even. Oh, right. Okay. And
something runs into her window.
Yeah. What do you mean something?
Well, something hits her window. And she goes outside to investigate, and it's a bat.
Yeah. So being the kind, generous, vampire-loving lady that she is, she decides that she's going to take this bat into her house and put it in the garage.
I don't think
in a
she
box.
knew that it was a vampire when she got it. She might have been
either.
romanticizing about the idea a little bit. I thought the actress was pretty good that they got for her.
I didn't like her.
I think she looks a little bit like Stephanie Meyer, too. Or maybe just that actress from 50 Shades of Grey.
So the bat ends up turning out to be obviously a vampire.
Not this vampire, though.
No,
that's
not that
a lady
one.
vampire.
No, the boy vampire. That's our Van Helsing. Mm-hmm. Because you gotta have that. There he is. There. Nope. Son of a bitch. No.
Nope.
Okay. Well, fucking whatever. Oh, they're in Lake Tahoe too. Do you know how I remembered that?
Because of her sweater?
No, because I remembered.
You didn't.
Fuck you. So, Bat grows up to be a vampire, and there's a vampire killer and the vampire, tells her all these stories, and then other vampires show up, and
She's like, I'm gonna use this experience to make me a better writer.
yeah,
And so she starts asking him some questions, and I think he answers pretty well.
It's
Not
all-
all truthfully,
it's
though.
all fucking it's very silly.
I liked it. I thought it was
silly.
funny. I mean, it was kind of supposed to be a dark comedy, and it sort of was. I mean, wasn't good. It was really low budget. But
yeah.
I thought the actors carried the show. I thot they did good. I believed both of them. I thought the lead vampire was silly and real cheesy, and I don't know.
What was his name? Like Jeremy or something?
Who wanted the large sausage?
No, I don't know what his name was, but he didn't like the lead name for the vampire in her book. She's like, he said, you should name him Zach.
It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the
Yeah, I mean, the end was pretty weak tea, but that's fine.
I mean, it's a vampire movie.
Leave a corpse here to rot?
Everything was going well until the other two vampires showed up, and then when Queen Bitch Vampire shows up, everything just kind of gets
Muddled and
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our writer turns into like a war hero. And it's, it's gotta give him something. I guess she turns into the new Van Helsing, sort of. Not even really. I think she just defeats the two of the three No, I don't remember. I don't know.
okay.
It ended.
Yeah, it did.
It ended
did
with
end.
a phone call to her sister.
Red Snow was. I mean, you had a good time, right?
Yeah, I
we
enjoyed
both
it.
had a good time. It was pretty entertaining. It was comical. It was also really, it was kind of shit too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Low budget. If you guys are into snow and vampires and Christmas, go ahead and check out Red Snow, or don't. I don't know. We thought it was all right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, moving on to our second one, we're kind of jumbling things up a little bit tonight. This is our revisit, and it is House of Wax from 2005, starring Paris Hilton.
That's hot.
I don't remember watching this movie the first time because I think I only watched it once.
I saw this movie in theaters.
I did not.
I did. It was right around the time The Simple Life was out,
Oh,
and everybody just wanted to see Paris Hilton impaled.
Just eat shit. Yeah.
Just an uproarious amounts of applause when that happened. And I remember feeling even a little bad at the time, like, oh, she doesn't deserve that kind of response. This was my choice to revisit.
Yes.
I liked this movie.
I
don't think it was like, it's not Citizen Kane,
I made no campaign promises.
but it's...
What? Okay, so the original House of Wax was with, I believe, Vincent Price. And it was made in the 50s. Pretty sure it was. So the premise of this movie, was that a bunch of teenagers go out... Where are they going?
They're gonna go to a football game.
Oh, right. So they have to drive across the country to get to the football game.
NFL season and
But their timing belt snaps.
Was it the timing belt?
Yeah, I think so. Or their serpentine belt. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Probably just superimposing our own life into it. Sorry, our serpentine belt went out a while ago.
Oh.
Yours did, not mine. Mine's
Okay.
fine.
Something bad happens to their car, and they get stuck in this town that...
No, they have to find the nearest town.
Well, it couldn't have been the serpentine belt then, because they wouldn't have made it. They didn't have to push the fucking car all the way over.
I think it's the timing belt.
Wait, did they leave the car there, and then they had to walk to the town?
No, they took two cars, remember? And then,
No.
Paris Hilton's boyfriend had that, blue Escalade before Escalades were popular. And his serpentine belt was fine. Those belts are made to last. So they had two cars. It was the belt that went out on the other guy's car.
Oh, okay, right.
And so they left his car behind.
They split up, and
Yeah.
they left Paris Hilton and her boyfriend.
And then there's this scene where they're like running away from like this truck that comes while they're kind of camped out in the woods. And so this woman starts fleeing, I guess, sort of from this truck, and she falls into this pit of death. Which was really early on in the movie, and I think it's a great way to start off with a bang. When I say pit of death, it turns out to be just the pit where this local guy just throws roadkill.
Did I? No. Did I fall asleep through part of this movie?
It was the very beginning of the movie.
I know.
Remember when her brother also so this girl, our final girl and final guy are brother sister.
Right.
There's a gross amount of sexual tension between them the whole movie. I remember thinking it the first time I watched it. There really is. There's a part where she falls into this like pit of roadkill death. Like I said, she falls in like hands first, upside down. And she can't get out.
That's right. Okay, now it's coming
Her
back.
shirt gets all dirty, and so he takes his off, and she wears it for the rest of the movie. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm saying. It's all very.
So Paris Hilton and her boyfriend are left back at the truck.
That's really
or the
odd.
Escalade. Sorry.
So they get a lift into town, the nearest town, by this guy who's throwing the roadkill into the death pit. And so the nearest town happens to be this House of Wax town, and he just kind of drops them off, or they part ways. They get creeped out in the cab, and then they just decide to walk the rest of the way, and the guy's like, fine, fuck y'all anyway. Anyway, try to do something nice.
I'm redneck.
Yeah, I'm redneck. I'm at him and go find some more roadkill, throw in that pit. And so they walk to this town, and it's like creepily, small town, kind of empty. And they go into the church, and they like disturb a funeral. Except this one guy's there, and it happens to be the one guy that they need to talk to is the mechanic in town.
No! They split up because they couldn't find anybody.
No, they didn't split up.
The brother-sister split up.
The brother-sister...
And the dude from Scary
So
Movie.
the boyfriend-girlfriend go off first, right? And then the brother, who doesn't get along with the boyfriend, and his best friend... They come later looking for them. Meanwhile, Paris Hilton and her boyfriend are still in the woods.
Not doing it at all.
Just, I guess, having foreplay for, an hour and a half.
I think it was longer than that, even.
It felt like it, man. It went on for a long time.
You guys aren't knowing it. What are you
I think
doing?
this was right after her sex tapes came out, too.
That's
It's
really
yeah.
oh, it's gonna be juicy.
Yeah, no, sorry. Oh, baby.
It's pretty teasy, for sure.
Yeah. So then they wind up in this town that's made of wax. Or not, it wasn't even, the whole town wasn't made of wax.
No.
All
Just
the-
this one house was made of wax, but there were only, there's only one person in the whole town, from what you could tell, who was, the guy at the gas station who was at the church during the funeral. No! That they interrupted. The mechanic.
The mechanic guy.
So anyway, this broad, who looks a lot like Kirsten Dunst, I think, like her little sister or something, and I don't think she was ever in another movie after this.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
Do you know if she was?
Yeah.
I don't know, but if I was casting and I needed two sisters, I would definitely cast them to be sisters, because they look a lot alike. So anyway, they realize pretty soon that there's something fishy going on with this mechanic, and then they look for help throughout the town, and they get separated. Her boyfriend and her get separated, and she never sees her boyfriend again. Dun dun dun. And
Dun, dun, dun. And her boyfriend was the dude from Scary Movie.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Yep.
no.
Yep.
No, her boyfriend was somebody else. The guy from Scary Movie was the goofy best friend of her brother.
Oh.
He doesn't make it very long.
I don't even remember. She had a boyfriend?
Oh my gosh. This is fun. And it's also gross. The idea that, so eventually you come to find out that everybody who did live in the town was murdered by these two kids who were psychopaths, who were the sons of this woman who was like a world-renowned wax sculptor. And so either they, through natural causes, or I don't know, they don't even go into the backstory of how all these people died, but basically all the residents of the town were cast in wax, like their corpses were cast in wax one by one, like in hot wax. You see the process in the beginning. It looks like something out of a Saw movie.
You have decided to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
And right, and I think
Yeah.
this was before Saw, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
by much.
No.
This was 2005.
Yeah.
I think they probably came out around the same time.
2004.
Ooh.
Fuck.
Anyway, so they're like rotting corpses are forever encased in this thick layer of wax that that you actually learn later, like it actually they're alive as it melts into their skin, or at least some of them were. I don't know, I thought it was creepy. It was gross. Gary thinks it's super cheesy, but I liked it.
It was really cheesy.
Haven't seen the first one. I think we'll probably have to watch that too. We can do a little comparison, but I liked it. I thought,
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a like I said, none of these movies are great, but I mean, if it makes you a little uncomfortable, which it did, because the first time Gary tried to watch it, he did fall asleep. There's a part when the girl gets her finger cut off, and I couldn't watch it by myself after that. But they tied up all their loose ends, which I always like. I think I like a nice, tidy ending.
Because they left it open.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they fucking did.
No, they didn't. They
Yeah.
just said
Never-
she didn't have 2 sons. She had
Three.
3 sons, and it turns out that podunk, guy that was throwing all the carcasses into the death pit, that was the 3rd son, apparently. But it doesn't matter. I mean, what was he?
That's not a tidy ending.
That is a tidy ending.
No, it's not, to leave it open for like a fucking sequel.
Well, no, it's just.
Which never happened.
It's just like, if they hadn't mentioned him at all, that would have been a loose thread that they hadn't tied up. But they did tie it up, because at least by mentioning it, your audience is kind of like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't deserve a sequel, but at least you weren't left thinking, well, what about that Rick in the beginning of the movie? That guy was part of the town. Like, that's a tidy, that's, that's like the 3rd wipe to make sure you get all the poop. You know what I mean?
Ew. Okay.
But in this case, it was the 3rd son,
I can wear these underwear for the next
Safe-
6 days.
Safe to flush.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, if you want to see Paris Hilton die in a, like, really horrible, ridiculous way.
Hilarious impalements are tight.
And I mean, like, to be fair, the amount of gore and everything in here was pretty good. And I mean, for this to come out after Saw came out, like, that's, like, I feel like there was a precedent set.
Yeah, it was an impossibly high standard.
Yeah.
And so if half of your audience is there to see Paris Hilton get naked, and your other half is there to see her
Or
impaled,
just die.
I mean,
Yeah.
they got pretty close to hitting both marks. So, what do you people want? Just leave Paris alone.
Oh my god. Oh man, I'm getting some ideas. Oh yeah. Check it out or don't. If you guys haven't seen this, are you taking a break?
Yeah, I need to recharge my battery.
Recharge. Check it out or don't. It's all the way back from 2005. So all of you young people that are watching our channel maybe want to check this out because you weren't born before this movie came out.
Yeah, tell us what you think about those incest vibes.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's not coronavirus. It's just a head cold.
That's what
People are
coronavirus
still
is.
allowed to get head colds.
Oh.
Oh. Gross. That was where my fingers were pinching it.
Moving on to number 3. This movie is... was Stuart Gordon's last film. If you guys don't know who Stuart Gordon is,
It was dead when I found it.
go get a fucking job. this was really, really fucking disappointing. For being Stuart Gordon's last movie, at least for me. And then, altogether disappointing. So, this movie is based off of a true story that this,
You can barely say that.
well, no, because...
Inspired by a true story.
Okay, that's fair. So Mina Suvari, who goes to a club one night and takes a bunch of drugs and shit, and then she decides that she's gonna drive home. In the meantime, we've been experiencing this dude and how bad his day has gone. Like, really fucking awful.
Yeah, he just got evicted. He's not
really
even allowed to take
awful.
his fancy
and
clothes.
He gets fired from his... no, he doesn't even have a job. He was going to an interview.
Yeah,
and they were like, oh, you have to fucking fill out more paperwork. And he's like, I already did that. And they're like, nope. No, you didn't. And then he meets this nice homeless guy in a park and fucking...
Look at her creepy eye. It looks like it's looking right at us.
She's listening to our judgment about her cornrow.
That's some Illuminati symbolism, you guys.
Oh.
I don't know.
So Mina Suvari gets all fucked up at the club, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna drive home because that's a responsible thing to do." And so she gets in her car.
She has to work tomorrow.
And she works at a fucking nursing home.
I trouble you for a glass of warm milk. It helps put me to sleep.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
Yeah, she's going to be awarded the best nursing home nurse of the week or some such. And so she's got to make sure that she has enough time to sleep off that Molly before she has to be to work first thing Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Working OT.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It was a
extra shift.
Extra shift. That's right. Yeah.
So
she's driving home. She's texting her boyfriend on her. I think it was a Nokia phone, wasn't it?
Oh yeah!
And then she hits this poor guy who's had the worst day ever, and he gets embedded into her windshield.
Yeah.
And he's
like one of those stickers that you see that has like the golf ball and the fake crack lines.
Yeah.
Never gonna give you up.
All around it.
That's
what
that dude looked like. Yeah, exactly.
Just legs coming out of the front, and somehow she drove all the way home, even past this police interrogation of this homeless man, and nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody saw anything.
I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
Which, I mean, even at like 2:00 in the morning is going to be really
like,
suspicious.
Hey, is that a dude sticking out of that lady's windshield right there? So she drives all the way home. She gets home. She parks her car in the garage, right, which is detached from the house, and then she goes inside and she calls her boyfriend. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared."
Well, before she goes inside, I think that he's like coming to, and he's like, "Help me, please help me," and she's like, "Help is on the way."
Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna go get help. And then she didn't.
Doesn't. And then
she never did that.
Doesn't go and get the guy help.
Pretty much the whole fucking movie was like her trying to hide this dude in her garage because she hit him with a car.
But she's not taking any steps towards hiding him, like getting him out of her windshield.
Yeah, and so
she's just leaving him in there.
Yeah.
That like alive and probably could make a full recovery if you would just call someone, Who you gonna call?
He's like beeping the horn and shit.
Yeah, there's
point.
and he
can reach the fucking steering wheel and stuff.
Both of his arms are, I think,
inside.
Have made
inside
of
the car.
Supermaned into the windshield. And so, his arms are both in the car, or I think he has to shoulder his other arm in there. His side has been impaled by her windshield wiper, and that was a hard scene to watch.
Yeah, that was gross.
That was a gross scene.
Fuck.
Like a commendably gross scene. There's another gross scene where a dog comes in and starts eating his open wound, which was just super stupid. It was just a really dumb scene.
Stuart Gordon, man.
I thought I was renting a private room, Dan.
And so she just keeps on promising that she's going to help this guy, and then she just never does, and it's really frustrating. I mean, it's just like a really slow... Ugh. This was one of those chore movies to get through. And it was made worse by, I asked Gary, I was like, this is based off of a true story? And so before we even finished the movie, he Googled the actual story, and then he told me the outcome of it before we had seen the ending. So then we watched the ending, and it was just like...
Totally different!
Totally!
Completely different!
It was like the director read the article about what happened to this homeless man that got hit,
the front part,
and he was so
and he was
pissed
like,
about it that he decided to try and rewrite history in the form of a movie. And it just and we're just gonna tell you what happens. So this girl, she hits him, and then so he's just perma-parked. So all these chances for him to become free keep popping up, right? Which I suspect probably didn't happen, and they just added it as fluff, because how much time can you spend on a man stuck inside of a windshield? So there's a part where like this kid, right? This kid
neighbor kid is
playing.
Who is?
He's an illegal immigrant, right? And he goes and he tells his mom, and he's like, "We have to help this man. We have to help him."
And the dad's like,
"You can't call the police because we're gonna get deported." And it was like, okay, so that was one instance where the guy got absolutely no help. Like, you guys could have probably called anonymously from somebody else, or maybe told a neighbor or something, but it didn't happen. And then there was the other time.
Well, and the fucking mom went over there and looked through the window, too.
Yeah, the mom was like,
she was like, holy shit, there's a guy sticking out of the windshield out of this lady's car.
Well,
he's still alive. Like, we have to go and help him. And the dad's like, no, sorry. Deported.
That there, and then there was the scene where the dog like ran in, and like, so okay, so there comes a point where the boyfriend comes over and he's like, "Oh, I'll help you take care of it," but instead of even like looking around or anything, they just go upstairs and do more ecstasy and have sex, right? So the next morning, like, he leaves and doesn't even know that the guy is still in her windshield, and she's like, I gotta go to work. And so she takes the bus to work, and she's like 30 minutes late, and then she realizes that she's left her phone in the car, and she's like, oh no. So she tells her friend,
that guy will be able to use my phone.
She tells her friend to cover for her at work, but no one can cover for her because there's this demented old man that lives there.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist.
Who shits all the time.
And she's the only one that's allowed to clean him, so like, you're gonna be missed. You know, like, when that happens. She tells her friend to cover for her, so she takes a bus all the way back home to get her phone, and then the guy's like, please just help me. And the guy, meanwhile, has gotten the phone. He has called 911, and 911's like, what's the state of your emergency?
I'm in a car!
Like, I'm in a car windshield. Somebody hit me. And they're like, well, if you can't tell me where you are, then I just can't help you.
I'm in a garage. Yeah, and then 911 is just, yeah. They just fucking like, oh, well, sorry.
Worthless dispatch
sorry
agent
about that.
ever. Like,
911, where's your emergency?
Bummer. Just die. So, sorry, out of luck. And then, so, as if he couldn't just try again and hopefully get a different dispatch agent that was more helpful.
911, where's your emergency?
Instead,
the phone dies.
No, the girl comes back and she's like, what? You tried calling 911 on my phone? And then she's like, I told you, help is on the way. By this time, like, it's already been
like a day and a half or something. Like,
so she takes her phone, and then her boyfriend comes over, and then she's like, I thought you were gonna help me with this. And then he's like, I didn't know that he was in your windshield. He's like, I thought you just hit somebody and then just drove off. I didn't know he was like in your car.
Well, no, and at that point he had climbed into the car and then out of the car, and he was laying on the floor in the garage.
Yeah, and that's when the dog and the kid next door came by. Both of which did nothing. Well, I mean, the kid was tried. You know, he tried.
That fucking dog didn't do anything. That dog could have. That dog said something.
Yeah, and the owner picks up the dog, and he's covered in blood, and he's like, "Oh, gross, princess! What did you get into?"
Oh
no.
So then she finds the boyfriend or so the boyfriend leaves or whatever.
No, the boyfriend. Can I?
Go.
So
yeah.
the boyfriend. Sorry. So the boyfriend is like, "WTF, babe? What is this guy doing here?" No, and then the friend comes over that was supposed to be covering her at work. She comes by and she's like, "What happened to you at work? You're in a lot of trouble. I couldn't cover you. Everybody started screaming for you, and then you're." Whatever, the supervisor's really pissed. And then, so they cover up this guy with all of these trash bags or something, right, while he's out of the car and I guess subdued or unconscious, or playing unconscious or something. So the friend goes and into the garage while this guy's laying on the floor, and she sees the human-sized hole going through the window, and then her friends are just like, oh, man, what do we tell her? We hit a deer, and they're so obviously, like, dumbstruck, and they're not for 1 second does she think, this seems suspicious. Like, this seems very unusual. Like, so then
okay.
Her friend comes and
Where
then goes,
it?
And then there's this whole scene where they kind of try to kill him, but, like, they can't really do it, and it's just, awful.
I thought...
Oh, yeah, so she goes and she recruits him to help, but he doesn't come over willfully. She has to go and get him out of bed, but he's having sex with another woman. And so there is quite a scene where she drags this woman out of bed completely naked and beats her ass and throws her out in the hallway.
Stay away from my man, bitch.
Yeah.
That was pretty thug life.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, this movie was... it was
hard.
nice to see her step into action because she had done absolutely nothing up to this point. She had basically just kind of...
she hit the guy.
It's true. She hit the guy, and then she just kind of acted like nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And it was really just fucking irritating and frustrating to watch.
This movie was... Yeah, it was really hard to get through, and for being Stuart Gordon's last movie...
Would you please leave? Now, Eve.
Like, that, I think that was the most disappointing thing about all of it. I mean, the movie itself was very disappointing. No stuck. No.
Okay, so eventually this girl and her boyfriend come back out, and he's got a gun, and he's just gonna off this guy, right? Just take care of it, and then they're gonna figure out whatever about the body. So he goes in the garage, and he's overcome by the homeless guy. And I think the homeless guy has a pen in his pocket, and he jabs it into the eye of her boyfriend, and then
kills him instantly.
I think it kills him instantly. He grabs his gun, and then the girl comes out when she hears the gunshot because she's like, "Don't use the gun, use a pillow." And so she goes out there and she sees that her boyfriend's dead. So she left her keys in the ignition, right? And the morning that he wakes up and manages to clamber into the seat of her car through the windshield after he makes the phone call, he tries to start her car and her car does not start, okay? But miraculously later that night, he tries again and her car does start. So he gets into her car, and so he manages to pin her between the hood of the car and the shed. Or the garage, the back of the garage. At this point, she has taken a bunch of gasoline and she's just planning on torching him alive, right? But right before she gets pinned.
Right.
And so the gasoline is already all over the place. And so now she's pinned into the car and he gets out of the car and he strikes this match and she's like, "No, please don't, please help me, please help me." And he's like, "Why didn't you help me?" And then he throws the match on the gasoline, and then he crawls away, and then he lays down in relief in front of the long driveway. At which point all the neighbors come up, including the immigrants that didn't help him earlier, and then help him, and they seem very involved with the police investigation.
And then the movie ends.
And then the movie ends, and you're like,
that's it.
"Oh, okay, that was a good resolution. It was nice to see that bitch get her comeuppance."
Not actually what happened.
Go ahead. You read the article.
I did. So he died. He died. And then she tried to hide the body. And then the police caught her, and she got, 40 years in prison. Mm-hmm. Because she
they only caught her because she was bragging about it.
She was bragging about it at a party. This was not fun to get through at all. Korri was mad the whole time we were watching it.
Yeah, this movie was
actually
really frustrating and stupid.
Yeah, this movie was not a good time.
No.
It was, and because
her performance was
irritating.
So irritating.
Yeah.
Just
stop it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Do not watch Stuck.
If I could give it negative points, I would.
I think you did. All right, moving on to number 4. We actually couldn't find a trailer for this movie online without somebody else talking over it.
But it's free on YouTube.
But it is free on YouTube, so definitely maybe check this movie out. This movie is called The Carpenter from 1988. And this movie was fucking amazing.
Yeah, this movie was fun.
It was hilarious. Oh, and I forgot about our fucking shitty husband.
I have those napkins.
Okay.
Not that it matters, but I do. I could get them for you right now.
All right. No.
So this lady is in an unhappy marriage.
Yes.
Her husband is cheating on her.
Yeah.
And giving her sleeping pills at night, I guess. Weirdly, innocently. So anyway, he's hired this crew of people to refinish this house for them. They're remodeling or...
Yeah, because they just moved in.
I think they just bought it, yeah, and I think that they're renovating. So they have this crew, and it starts by... So he takes sleeping pills at night, so he's knocked out, like, every night pretty hard. She wakes up to, like, this banging noise at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, and she comes downstairs, and there's this, like, brawny man carpenter.
Leave everything to me!
That's just still plugging away on the job site, and he's like, gotta get the work done, man.
Gotta get it all done. There he is.
Fucking
fuck,
scene.
dude. Oh my gosh.
We're just gonna let you see this whole scene.
Yeah. So, alright. So, this woman
keeps waking up in the middle of the night to this man who just keeps
he's just working really hard on their house. He's trying to get everything done. So she talks to the rest of the day crew, and she's like, hey, do you guys know who that other guy is? The guy that's working late at night? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And so
meanwhile, there's this guy on the day crew. He think he's the window jerk.
Oh yeah,
and he tries to force himself upon her.
Yes. So she's being an audience member. We're thinking that like, oh, he must be a ghost or something, or she's hallucinating.
Which was pretty
sleeping pills or some shit. Or
it was a pretty popular trope back in the 80s. I mean, and I guess not even with ghosts, because even now I'm thinking like what was that movie? No, not The Burbs. What was that movie that we watched a while ago? It was like the ghost couple swap with Daryl Hannah.
Oh God!
What was that movie?
High spirits.
That movie was bananas. And then, what else? Oh, and then Daryl Hannah again in Splash, like Mermaid on Man. It's just like, I don't know, the 80s was a weird time.
So, at this point in the movie, Korri and I are very confused about what's going on. I mean, slightly. Like, we kind of have a good idea. So,
While her husband is unconscious on sleeping pills upstairs.
That's right.
She hears him plugging away.
He's plugging away. He's plugging away outside. He's doing something out there.
And that's all the context you really need for this scene, I think.
That's right.
Nice night.
Nice enough.
You work pretty hard, don't you?
Oh, well, hard work builds the world.
You work really hard. Did you ever take a break?
Not much.
I know that shit on her
You're
pants.
losing momentum that way.
It's a screw, isn't it?
No, it's a nail, but he was...
hard work. You can't lose your momentum. It's just like music.
That's a nice thought.
Well, that's just the way it is. You know, once you get going, once you get the rhythm, it takes on life.
What? What the...
Stop it. Kill the rhythm.
Just gotta stop sometime.
Not till job.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Don't let me interfere.
Oh, man, you don't break the rhythm at all. Matter of fact, you fit right in.
I've got a job too now.
Well, that's fine.
Cleaning the door down.
Yeah, I understand.
With all of the hardware on it?
Look at that beautiful lock.
Come on.
Hard work builds the world.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So
He's a very handy man.
So that scene alone should be enough to incentivize you guys to watch the rest of this fucking movie.
Oh, there's the crew.
Yeah, that was the D crew. So the whole premise of this movie is that, all right, this woman has a shitty husband, and he's paying for all of these fucking. He's cheating on her, right? And the carpenter comes in at night, and so he just starts killing people because.
Yeah, so the window guy tries to put himself on her, and then so he kills that guy.
He kills
and
that
she
guy,
watches
yeah.
him.
She watches watches all of these deaths.
And she's like,
that
oh.
happen. Yeah, well, you're just doing your job.
I think he likes me.
I think he likes me. Yeah, and it's...
In his defense, he's killing people for being crappy. Oh, this is a particularly weird scene where this man decides to put his sleeping pills in her milk, but for no reason at all other than to just get her to go to bed. Like, it's not even nefarious. It's just like, just stop painting the house, dear. I had to drug my wife to come to bed. For reals.
Yeah. And then she doesn't. She doesn't even go to bed.
Doesn't she?
No, she falls asleep on the couch or something.
Oh, this is her best friend who doesn't like her husband because she thinks that he's scummy. Or her sister, I can't remember. I think just best friend.
So weird. It was the shitty husband. Oh, right. She works at the hardware store.
Just keep on having that bad day.
So the ending of this movie, which I don't think we should give away. I think we should make you guys watch this movie. This movie was fucking
worth it.
It was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. This movie was amazing. This movie was definitely worth checking out, and it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely worth the 0 money and 0 cents it was to watch it. So.
Yeah, dude, just like hands down, probably. I don't know. I would say I would make it in my top 20 list of 80s slasher horror movies. I know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could name 20 slasher lists, and I still don't know if it would make the top. But
definitely worth
it's fun
checking this movie out. And like everything is over the top, just like it was, and like it was supposed to be back then. And like. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
I will admit the vice grip death was a little anticlimactic.
Oh, yeah, it kind of was. Yeah.
Sans that, though, it was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. There are lots of tools and stuff. And just like the absurd scene of him just like doing shit.
Hard work builds the world.
Don't you ever take a break?
Well, not much. You lose your momentum that way. On a life of its own. And the moment you stop it. Oh, ma'am, you don't break the rhythm at all. Well, that's fine.
No.
That's real fine. Yeah, I understand.
Every time they cut back to him, like, is that foam? Is that what you're breaking right now?
Whenever I see movies like this, I wonder if they're trying to ride the coattails of movies that have a similar premise. Like, there was a movie that had Tom Hanks and some other lady in it.
Also it was The Money Pit.
The Money Pit, that's right.
Yeah.
I wonder if this was the movie that tried to ride the coattails of the success of that movie. Because Tom Hanks was rolling in it at that point. He was all the rage.
Definitely recommend The Carpenter. Out of all of the movies that we reviewed tonight, I think this one's our prize.
House of Wax is fun. House of Wax was totally fine.
It was all right.
Awesome. There's There's a Darwin Awards moment where they're like, "Oh no, the whole building is melting.
Why don't you run up the stairs?"
It has the charm of a kitschy clown painting, but it's really fun. I liked it. I think you're being very hard on it.
Well, Carpenter is number one for this batch of movies. That being
it's
said,
neck and neck with House of Wax.
Neck and neck.
Neck
Really?
and neck. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't like. Come on, man.
No way, dude. The Carpenter was way better. Way better. I mean, the gore effects in House of Wax were much better because they just didn't.
I'm not even talking about effects. I'm just talking about level, like entertainment level, overall entertainment level.
This
I think
movie
that
took it way further than House of Wax did for me.
Yeah, that's for you. I mean, that's fine. You know, I'm not defending House of Wax. I'm not saying it was a great movie. I'm just saying, it's like Carpenter's not a great movie either.
It was.
It was hilarious, and it was real fun to watch. All right, I guess the Carpenter's on top this week.
It is. I feel like it's on top. If Korri says it's neck and neck, then that's on her list.
I thought House of Wax was perfectly fine.
All right.
I thought they did.
All right, dude.
Perfectly fine movie.
Not saying that. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's dumb and it sucks. It's not,
Well,
I mean,
this was dumb and it sucks too.
That's my entire point. Every movie that we.
All right. That being said, that is it for us tonight. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell button wherever the fuck it is down there. So you can watch another dumb video just like this.
Support your local carpenters.
Support your local carpenters. That's me. And we will see you guys in about 5 minutes. So, which is actually coincidentally enough, in the
immediate future.
In the immediate future. So. All right. Hey, zip it.
What is that ugliness about?
Go away.
Go away.
Rude.
Go.
Rude. Rude.
Well, but you go lay down.
Rude. 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 Holy shit. Okay.
I think that she wrote about their wedding night after she read 50 Shades of Grey.
You said 12.
Oh no. We're gonna have to edit this out. I didn't read any of the 50 or 12 Shades of Grey.
12 or 50?
I didn't read any of the
12 Shades of Grey, that's a art book, I think. Oh yeah. That's right. This is our second Christmas episode. Even though we didn't do a first one.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I don't know.
Why?
Because I don't have any problem. I don't have any beef with Paris Hilton. I feel bad for her in a lot of respects. And, the theater just cheered. You don't get to tell me that this movie sucked if you don't remember one iota.
Because it sucked.
Just
the third wipe.
The third wipe, yeah.
The sock on the floor.
Yeah, it's on pretty move forward with confidence after that wipe.
Leave Paris alone!
Hammer, don't look at me. I mean, I
didn't...
That was probably the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
Also did not have cornrows.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's just a really odd makeup choice to just give her cornrows. It just looks really bad.
It's fucking... Yeah, dude. Like, her forehead isn't big enough. So we're gonna make it even bigger by putting cornrows on her. Okay, so... She was not a white girl with cornrows.
You gotta edit that out. Who cares? You don't say that. Don't.
Well, no, I mean, it's whitewashed.
You already said it. We already said it.
Okay. No. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, please.
This is your expertise movie.
What?
You're a carpenter.
Oh, right.
You still have movies where you had, like, a weird... like romance, like Big, like that was gross. That woman had a relationship with a 13-year-old boy stuck in a man's body. I mean, I'm sure it's fine in California, but
because it's all made out of wax and heat travels down.
I mean, do we have another one?
We could do another one.
Do we usually do 5?
We can do 5, but we could do a whole nother review.
Do you want me to go change my shirt?
I'm gonna change my shirt.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. We have to say goodbye first.
All right.